The rain hammered the parade ground like 1,000 drumming fists as the recruits lined up for the morning PT inspection. Everyone stood stiff and silent, everyone except Lieutenant Commander Aria Hale, who remained seated on the low wooden bench beside the formation, her coat pulled tight around her shoulders. Admiral Kincaid stalked across the asphalt with an expression carved from stone. His reputation was legendary, strict, uncompromising, and intolerant of excuses. When he spotted Aria sitting down instead of standing at attention, his jaw twitched. "What is this?" he barked, boots splashing through the puddles. "PT begins at 0500 sharp. Why are you sitting?" Aria looked up slowly, eyes steady but tired. "Sir, I filed a medical exemption request last night. It hasn't been processed yet." Kincaid scoffed loudly, loud enough for the entire company to hear. "A medical exemption, Lieutenant Commander, you were fine yesterday. Don't tell me a little rain suddenly made you fragile." A few recruits glanced nervously in her direction. No one dared speak. Aria's fingers tightened around the edge of her coat. "Sir, it's not the rain." Kincaid stepped closer, towering over her. "Then what is it?" "Another one of your secretive, classified, excuses. Let me remind you, this is a naval base, not a hospital. If you can sit here, you can stand." The air thickened with tension. Aria inhaled once, then slowly exhaled, as if making a decision she had avoided for years. "Sir," she said quietly, rising to her feet, "you're questioning my commitment. You deserve an explanation." The Admiral raised an eyebrow, clearly expecting some mild protest or a flimsy justification. Instead, Aria reached for the buttons of her coat. "Lieutenant Commander," he snapped, "this better not be drama." But the words died in his throat. Aria slipped the coat off her shoulders, letting it fall open. The entire formation gasped. A long, jagged scar, starting from her left ribcage and cutting diagonally up toward her back, crossed her torso like a brutal signature. The flesh was warped, uneven. Not the mark of a clean surgical wound, but the imprint of violent shrapnel, the kind that tears through armor and bone. It was the kind of wound that didn't heal. The kind that stole sleep. The kind that made PT impossible some mornings. Aria spoke calmly, almost too calmly. "Operation Blackwater Ridge. I absorbed the blast when we were ambushed on Exfil. 3 of my men survived only because I took the hit." Kincaid froze. His face drained of color. He had read the after-action report. He just never knew the operator responsible had been her. Aria met his eyes. "Some days it's fine, some days it's not. Today is one of the nots." Silence. Rain. Every recruit stood motionless. And Admiral Kincaid, the man known for never backing down, swallowed hard before whispering. "Lieutenant Commander, I had no idea." Aria pulled her coat back on. "Now you do, sir." The rain eased into a mist as Aria buttoned her coat again, but the atmosphere around the parade ground remained frozen. Admiral Kincaid stood utterly still, staring at her as if seeing her for the first time. He cleared his throat, stepped back, and turned to the formation. "Company, at ease." His voice was lower now, stripped of its earlier arrogance. The recruits immediately relaxed, though their eyes stayed glued to Aria. Whispers rippled quietly between the rows. "Did you see that scar? Blackwater Ridge, that was her. She saved an entire unit." Kincaid faced Aria again. "Lieutenant Commander Hale, I want to speak with you. Privately." Aria nodded. "Yes, sir." He led her toward the covered walkway beside the barracks, away from the murmurs of the recruits. When they reached the shadowed overhang, the Admiral stopped, his posture suddenly less rigid. "You should have told me," he said quietly. Aria raised an eyebrow. "With respect, sir, I wasn't aware I needed your permission to be injured." Kincaid winced at the deserved jab. "No, I mean, you should have told me you were the operator from Blackwater Ridge." The reports said the team leader refused recognition. She shrugged one shoulder. "I didn't save them for recognition. That's not what I meant," he said, and for the first time in years, real sincerity edged into his voice. "That operation, it became mandatory reading for every command-level officer. An entire unit ambushed, a 30-meter blast radius, and a single operator threw herself between her men and a grenade meant to wipe them out." Aria's expression remained neutral, but a shadow passed behind her eyes. "They were my responsibility, and you nearly died fulfilling it. Cost of leadership, sir." Kincaid exhaled, slowly and heavily, the breath of a man wrestling with guilt. "I've been hard on you, Lieutenant Commander. Too hard. I assumed your quiet was complacency. I assumed your discipline lapses were laziness." Aria smirked faintly. I don't have discipline lapses, sir. I have pain. She didn't say it dramatically. She said it like a fact she had learned to live with. Kincaid nodded. Then from today forward, any medical request from you goes directly to my desk. No delays, no questions. That's not necessary. It is, he interrupted softly. Because I misjudged you. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The mist settled around them like a quiet veil. Suddenly, heavy footsteps approached from behind, Master Chief Dalton, a broad-shouldered veteran with silver at his temples. Admiral, Dalton saluted. Request permission to speak freely. Kincaid nodded. Dalton turned to Aria with an expression of deep respect. Ma'am, if the men had known who you really were, half this base would have asked you to train them personally. Aria blinked. It's just a scar, Master Chief. Dalton shook his head. No, ma'am, scars tell stories. That one tells a legend. The Admiral straightened, his authority returning, but this time, tempered with reverence. Lieutenant Commander Hale, he said firmly, as of this moment, you're assigned as senior tactical instructor. Not because of your wound, but because of the warrior who earned it. Aria's breath caught, just slightly. Yes, sir. For the first time that morning, a faint sunrise broke through the clouds. And the entire base would soon learn. The woman the Admiral had doubted was the one warrior even death had failed to stop.